later on.
All right. Whoops, it's a bit loud, huh? So hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Conway. I lead education for Autodesk. I'm just very happy to be here as well. So thank you to my team members. So I think what Chui will be talking about is it's going to be about generative design. So this is going to be cutting edge technology, right? So this is going to be about AI, together with a design function. So in Autodesk we coined it as generative design. So we are very excited that this is going to be a cutting edge solution as part of Fusion 360. So Fusion 360 is made available to all students free. It's cloud-based. It's basically an end-to-end solution from CAD, CAM, CAE, the entire design to make process as well. So so in general, that's generative design. But the cloud credits at this point in time is still, you have a trial version. I'm still working out with the schools in terms of who actually gets the full cloud consumption. It's basically a consumption-based model where each time you generate the AI portion of generative design is basically a cloud consumption. Okay, but as students, you're given 250 cloud credits anyway to try it out. So please feel free to use it. So what it does is that I wouldn't steal Chui's thunder. What you have to do is just basically put in certain constraints. The algorithm in the technology would then generate the design itself. Right, so the exciting things will be coming from Chui, so I'm just going to leave it to him. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't see this now. Okay, so let me continue to explain the workflow, and I'm actually trying to connect to the internet using. Yeah, it's okay, I can do offline, and most of it I already have it in video recordings, right? So even without live, it's still good enough to go. Right? Okay, so the generative design is the things, right, in the industry. It's coupled together with the other terms called additive manufacturing, or AM, right? So my name is Chui. You can just call me Chui. You don't have to. The full name is Tiam Yao. Don't have to. Just everyone call me Chui, right? So okay, so I'm just going to. Don't bother with this. Yeah. Although I believe a lot of you have. No, don't bother now. Yeah, a lot of you have using Fusion 360 through a lot of activities and workshops throughout time. Maybe can I have a show of hands, like how many of you have exposed or tried with Fusion 360 software? Can I see? Oh, just a handful of you only? No, so that means you do not have much background of Fusion 360. Yeah. In that case, I have to start very beginning before I get into so advanced. I mean,
yeah, maybe just a few questions. So which courses are you from? Mechanical or built environment side of things? Anyone from mechanical engineering? Okay, yeah. Built environment, architecture. So mostly architecture.
yeah. So okay, and most of you are architectural, and so there are still because the real engine is the Fusion 360 for generative design is still applicable for architectural artwork in a way, because futuristics of like example, giving you an example, canopy, all right, or anything outside in the exterior, and you want it to have the shape that looks very organic, like the pictures around, you can make it very big, right? So I think what I'm going to do is just give a very quick overview of Fusion 360 in the form of a workshop, and of course I do have like 2-3 minutes kind of video presentation explaining what Fusion 360 is all about, right? Now this slide is designed specifically for people who know nothing. It's Fusion 360, and of course later on I'm going to summarize it with the video, right? And although this slide is actually designed for like you do hands-on, okay, and I actually have like what John mentions, and nowadays using thumb drive or using hard drive or even FTP are those history kind of things. Slowly going to. I mean, still people still practice that, but with the events of cloud computing, cloud storage, Dropbox, and all this, right? I think it's slowly going to go away, and storage is always available from the sky, somewhere. So in the very beginning of like giving you a challenge of how to model this thing is it's just an introduction to let you know what are the capability of Fusion 360. Okay, so and this workshop is actually going through, and having a phone, everyone is normal nowadays, and smartphone, right? And having this kind of phone holder where you can design yourself and then later on print it out I think should be something useful and inspirable, right? So and of course you go through like you build with a project and design a model and render your design, or even output it into a model where you can print it, all right? If you want to do mesh manufacture, maybe you still have some access for like fund, like Kickstarter program, capital fund, and then you want to manufacture a mass production, and so you may need to consider into a machining, right? Of course, the Millennium always consider the collaboration efforts in your design, right? So of course this is all going on into the last step. It's where you wanted to make it very professional and even metal kind of rather than plastic, right? Metal kind of phone holder. Just an example of like how you can go, how far can you go, right? So I think I liked the what you call the touch screen, especially for Fusion 360. I think I'm going to do offline if I cannot start later on, because when you have touchscreen and you don't need to use a mouse, you can just navigate using the touchscreen, right? For zooming, panning, and rotation. These are some simple kind of interface. Yeah. So I just if you are interested to like get the data sets for your own ease of exercise, I mean, you can take pictures of this and very short URL for you to download the data sets, right? Now, before you say I'm going to download the data sets, I have another deck of these are all data sets, and the first is an example of how you have the model of Sketch. So it's make it easy for you. You can go straight away to use the Sketch model to come up with a sculpting shape of the phone holder, right? So then there's another sample in case if you fail, number one, or you're lazy, you just jump straight to sculpting, then you can use the second model, the second URL, and then again download the model, right? And of course there's the last one with the machining, right? Cam is showing you how you're actually going to do the machinings of the phone holder. So this is actually using, let me show you the website. This thing called Fusion Team. Now I don't want to confuse you, so I'm going to be very slow and explain the cloud technology that we have here. Basically, there are two cloud technology. Before I get into generative design, of course, right? So it's just going to begin with the basic foundation first, right? The Fusion's 360 is completely cloud-based kind of CAD, CAE, or whatever you want to call it, right? It's completely from ground zero. I think in the world today, there's no one else except Fusion 360 can do all things from design all the way into simulation and machining, right? And of course now we're talking about generative design, right? So, behind the scenes, fundamentally, there is something called Fusion Team, which is a form of storage and a collaboration tool, right? So when you are selecting those URL to download, right, and you are actually getting the model of the Fusion 360 from what I've been shared using the project here. Should you have anything that you do, you can see there's an activity, right? Like this is what I like uploaded those model there, right? And then you can, you can feel the same what we call our looks and a very familiar environment, right? All of our softwares are built more or less in the same kind of a platform. Therefore, it's giving you a lot of user friendliness, right? So you've been exposed to what my colleague John explained to you about BIM 360. There are a lot of elements are similar, except BIM 360 is more gearing towards the architectural style, and therefore it gets more advanced in terms of that kind of dealing with the building element. For us, this is like beyond the normal Dropbox or the FTP storage, So on the right hand side, you can see the activity part, this, if we share this and invite many people to come to my project, and that's what the millennium would like to, and then they get using the font, and even can mark up and comment what they want to do with the, and then of course, how do I get all those URL links is because when I selecting this share, and then therefore you have this short thing, right? And you can so Fusion Team is the backbone, you can say, for the cloud storage, for collaboration and all this. So the data is actually not stored in your hard drive. The traditional CAD CAM, whatever that you know about the CAD, including Revit itself, is still somewhat traditional because the file of Revit.rvt is stored in your hard drive. Okay, but BIM 360 is not, right? So now it's getting more beyond traditional. So you have to think this is beyond traditional. Okay, so now another fundamentals of Fusion 360. So I explained the one fundamental, which is Fusion Team. All right, behind the scene. The second fundamental of Fusion 360. So let me try, see if I can start. Otherwise, I do offline. Yeah, it's connected. Okay. So while starting with that, then I just go through some slides to explain to you. Once you start the software, there are a number of very simple inspirations model, right? A lot, and I love to show you that once as Conway mentions to you, all of you have access to Fusion 360. Once you start the software, the one thing I want you to do and go through it is something simple like what I intend to show you in the aspect of like getting started into looking into the workshop or some samples model and all this, right? Something like this, right? So then you will see on the left hand side of the project, all right? Let me see. Just give it a little time to start. So then you will see on the left-hand side of the project, it's what you call the model, right? And this is how the recorded video, as I mentioned to you, on the left-hand side, and those are the project, okay? And the data that you access, right? And this is what I mean, right? Far below, you drag the browser all the way to the bottom, you will see a lot of latest technology, including the main topic for today, generative design. So a lot of samples of generative designs are there, Now I already started this Fusion 360, and I mentioned to you, so this is the last part of it, right? So the video, just now you were seeing early on the video, it was recorded like maybe 2 years ago. And Fusion 360 has been around for a long time, and about 2 years ago, generative design is like a baby, yeah? But we already, in the behind the scenes, a lot of, the time we call, at the time 2 years ago, we call it Project Dream Capture, Dream Capture, the things, like a net thing, So once it graduated from our project and became like commercialized, so it's part of the Fusion 360 program. Now, of course, you can go inside and the sample, like I mentioned to you, a lot of them are ready for you. And you can just use this samples model, right, as inspirations if you know how the Fusion 360 works, okay? Very simple. if I start, some of the model are already loaded, so I'll just use, once you load it, you copy it into your own project, you're creating your own project. So I'm just going to use this model, right? This is the model this one. This is the model I'm actually copy from the samples, right? And when you go through, I'm going to load a few model and just explain to you the basic workflow of it, right? So this is one of it, and this is another, right? What you see with the color are interpretations of the results of the finite element analysis, this one, right? So, but the geometry, now the real secrets for Fusion 360 is here, this function, the mode function here. When I click this, I'm making a selection of model, and then I'm completely inside the modeling environment. Now this is all you need to know is to access the real gist, the real function, the real capability, right? This in the model itself, all the capability, I don't have to explain to you, but when you expose any of the CAD, in the markets, right? It's all like more or less the same language. It's talking about the feature-based parametrics, it's talking about the sketch model, how you're going to build the geometry, right? And the sculpting is another one, right? And then of course the generative design is another one, but this model is out from generative design, meaning it's actually from one of this example, right? And so then once you're out, right, we call it outcome, okay? So I'll just, if I go into generative design, then you can see let me just close this, right? Then you see the maximum. So the function is specifically gearing for the workflow of generative design. Of course, very natural, you need to go to step 1, 2, 3, 4, from the left to the right. Okay, and of course there are a lot of tutorial. Now if the model is already done, and then when you click on it, it's like the model that you